Welcome to day 13 of 15 for Masters of the Genius Universe. Wow, we're almost finished. I can't believe it. It's been
Marathon.
really quite amazing. And for 2 days running, we've been saying we're going to do civilization builders and universe designers.
What to
So
say?
I will say as we start that, neither one of us really has any idea what we're going to say about that.
But something will come out,
This is all
nonetheless.
going to come in the mastery of the moment, clearly. So exciting stuff. We're really excited about it. Um, I want to say a little bit of background to that, I think. So, from the video yesterday, we were talking about tapping the mind of God. And several conversations came up simultaneously afterwards. And I just want to add that when I'm talking about tapping the mind of God, I'm talking about not like God, like and it's not like some truth and this is the way it is. And I really truly do believe every person has their own personal experience of Godness, and whatever that is right and true for every person. You can't take away an experience. It's a different thing when you're taught something about faith or belief, but when you experience it, it's true in your own consciousness when you experience it. And one of the things I've found is that no matter what you experience, no matter how you think, okay, I've found it, that's the truth, a month or a day or a year later, you find a whole other one. So it's been like that for me, searching consciousness to find the aspects of Godness that will inform us for masterful creation here. And that's why I wanted us to tap what I call the mind of God, which I call the kind of original preconception space. Now, does Godness exist in many other forms, many other aspects, everywhere, through everything and everybody? Absolutely, yes. And I believe that God as a force of miraculous magnitude is always present. And I'm not attached to the term God either. Call it anything from any faith. It would be okay with me. I think we're all talking about the same thing. So I'm probably going to use the term godness because that's a nice general, with a small g term that, we can all kind of relate to. But I do think we need to go to the place where the dreamer is dreaming the imagined futures. And I think that's an important place to tap if you're going to become a civilization builder and a universe designer. Because I think if we design and build and create from what we only know, then we've simply created an improved version of what is, when many other vast vistas of possibilities may be open to us. And what would those be, and how would we access those? So that's why I wanted us to do yesterday's video. So that's a kind of intro for me to this. So Centauri, for you, an intro into it.
Um, I think you've got to be guided by what you feel to be right and true. And yes, we do talk about, God as a name, as a concept, as an energy, as an experience. And I'm sure other civilizations have given different names and interpretations to their own sets of experiences also, which may be along those lines. But I think for me, you've always got to go out big, vast, to encompass everything that you can consider to be real and true and to be life. And that you play with these ideas so that you gain understandings about what it is that you're really trying to achieve on any level. And so I would say that you're guided, you're always guiding yourself in some respect about what it is that you're seeking to understand.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we keep to those that set of values, that we're at play, we're seeking to understand something, we're changing in the course of our experiences and our adventures, we might try something new, a different tack. Doesn't mean to say we're no longer going to where we want to go. It's just that something new comes up, if you like, to interrupt what might have been the dream, and something amazingly fulfilling starts to stand in its own presence, and we work with that, we become that, we play with that. So it's never that we're never working towards some amazing, brilliant outcome. I believe that we always are, but that the nature of that outcome will change as we discover and explore and become aware of something new in the journey of discovery.
There is a real genius art form to coming up upon anything that is, be that the way the world occurs, be that how we understand godness, be that, the mysteries of the universe, whatever. There's a genius art form to coming up to it, wide open to unimagined possibilities, and to be able to dwell in the place of those unimagined possibilities, in the mind of the dreamer, or the space of the dreamer, or the womb of the dreamer, however you want to, look at it. Whatever floats your boat is fine. There's no right or wrong way to this. There's a gazillion different amazing pathways to find your way. But I would say where we want to go to is to be able to stand in that space of pure imagination and to invent brand new ways of how we could live together. And that's kind of my introduction to Civilization Builder and Universe Designer, is where do you come from with it. So if we could just all line up now. You are the vast genius universe in sparkling, effervescent creation. There is a grand design. There is imagined and unimagined possibilities floating through it all, waiting to be painted on the canvas of reality. And you are open to all possibilities as a genius art form of mastering the painting of realities into fruition, into creation. How exciting.
Seems to be a point where you almost can no longer find words which are adequate to describe what it is that you really want to say.
Yeah.
But it is like you have this amazing vast expanse given to you, and from your feeling, from the feelings that arise within you about what you would like to put forth into this space, which would have the qualities of something, of a brand new race, let's say, that you would want to have this race, to have these qualities, and see what they do with these qualities, and see how they interact together as a living intelligence themselves, so that the sheer artistry of the picture starts to paint itself, rather than you have to put the brush strokes and say, this is the creation, now I would like something to live there in that creation. I think you just feel that the creative force with which you imbue life as a genius universe creator, that you almost like whisper to it, go forth and paint, go forth and imagine, go forth and dream vastly and immensely, and populate, this whole arena, this stage, this whole era with your creative force, and let the flourishing of that be something which would amaze and pervade the future that is going to be created from these moments, from these events that are now set in motion.
In other words, designing a civilization and a universe for you would begin with imbuing into the creatures that are creating that masterful gift of genius creation.
Yes, Yes, that it isn't going to be, and this is the way it is. Here is the divine plan, and it hereforth says. Or
Exactly.
the stone tablets, thou shalt not. No, thank you. We've got a different idea about how we'll do this.
I agree.
The
Yeah.
power will do this. The power that comes and arises from you in the depths of the night when you dream your amazing and wild dreams, and when you wake in the morn, filled with the adventure and the excitement of what you will discover as you start to put this into action. Yes, this is what's going to move things forward, I believe.
Yeah.
I know.
I agree. And that is the work we've been at for the past 19 years with all of our network and the things we've been doing is imbuing in every single being, and that's not just human beings, but in every being, that super connected, vigorous life force, the masterful art of genius creation, the ability to suss the unknown and to pull from the oceans of genius that which wants to be created next and new, to imagine things into reality, and by imagining in them, then also taking them into tangible, physical ways of being in reality, naming them, feeling them, seeing them, creating them, that kind of thing. So yes, I agree. That's where I would start too, right at the fabric of everything. And I think the second thing that we have introduced and that I would say is essential in the kind of genius universe, that genius world that we're talking about, is the relationship to everything. I was going to say every living thing, but it's not. Everything is living. If you think of rocks, somebody might think they're not living, but they're living too. And so it's the relationship we have to everything as godness. And when you have that awe and wonder about what is there, when you see the budding trees and the blue sky and the clouds moving, and you know that they're moving at your imagining, and from a place that wants to stir you to imagine greater. So it's a chicken and an egg relationship. You are imagining it, and it is imagining you at the same time, and together something beautiful is born out of those moments of relationship. And I can imagine a world, a universe, in which every life form is treasured and honored for its contribution, its magnificence, what it has that is unique to itself, that can be gifted to the whole, that we could become a collective beyond that which we know is collective today. It makes me think of, whales and dolphins as a collective. I kind of have known since I first began to know things about 25 years ago that whales carry all the consciousness of every whale that came before them, both on planet and off. And that every whale is born into that collective wisdom and knowing. And I think that's an amazing thing. And what if that was true of all living species? What if we were one gigantic God consciousness? That we knew everything that ever was from everywhere. It was, and it is. I believe that's a true thing. It's not something I'm desiring or imagining. It is a true thing. It does exist. But it doesn't exist in most people's reality. And it hasn't, I think there's another upgrade of that we could put into our present version of reality that would take us into a whole other place of collective consciousness.
So, what are you suggesting?
There is a piece of work there, isn't there? Shall we just do that? So, the collective consciousness of all godness, that which contains all wisdoms of all creation, of all galaxies, universes, cosmoses, and worlds, that it pre-exists, that we dwell in that collective consciousness, that every species, every life form has gifts to give in that, but that it is all available to us. That the universe is one thriving collective goodness, consciousing itself.
I sort of got the gist.
Consciousnessing itself. Wow. That really touches me deeply, actually, as a possibility. Yeah.
Mine was looking at almost like looking at one of Fleur's paintings, in which she has these forms which are drawn, in which the beings actually are really made of light, and you can see that in the way that they are painted onto the canvas. And I was just looking at a human being and seeing that something of the form starts to emerge, where it becomes more of a tentacle-like structure which reaches out and starts to interact with everything that is around it, as we might say, as part of the reality in which we live. That when we reach to something, it isn't like it's there and we're here and we reach to it and somehow a connection is made. I feel like it's like the molecules are set in motion, so that your awareness expands out and you have an understanding and a realization of whatever it is that you suddenly start to become in contact with. And I feel it more like that starting to develop, that everything has an awareness of itself, its own form, but also has an awareness of this very fluid state in which intelligence, understanding, and the capacity and propensity to be more aware and alive to all other forms and structures and energies start to become very easy to distinguish and to establish that awareness of, and to be able then to almost like flow intelligence and have conversation, if you like, just automatic sending of signals and pictures and understandings, so that everything is a very fluid dance of awareness, not just of yourself interacting with others, but of the whole matrix of the reality which we construct.
Yeah, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And I think as well, what is being imbued now into the consciousness of us is, I saw this thing today about a school in Finland, the whole education system in Finland actually is being redesigned based on teaching children the skills of problem solving versus memorizing what's been. And I thought, it's not about problem solving either. It's about generating, creating, imaginating, innovating. It's so a problem doesn't occur like a problem. A problem occurs like a doorway into possibility, into invention. And I would love to see every single person on this planet, the moment a problem comes up, it becomes a doorway into this vast sense of creation and innovation, beyond that which we currently have the skills for.
Well, I think it comes to the place of what is it that you want to know about, and start to ask questions, and ask the questions from a place of really inspiring to know, rather than let me just get the answer.
Do you know, it just reminds me, I would take a word out of our language for the new world and the new universe, and that word would be truth. And I know that can be a great word, but too many people get locked into what the truth is. And once you get the truth, you are locked into the next box. And that stops the illuminating search for the next and the next and the next possibilities that we can create. And so I would, in my building of the civilization, I would delete that word from our
It wouldn't
consciousness.
occur anyway. No need to delete it.
Delete. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So let's just everybody, let's just all line up for this amazing, brilliant, genius world as a jewel in the center of a genius universe, sourcing an unimagined future. And if you look to see what would you add into the design of the world and the universe that would make it spectacular beyond anything we've ever seen before. And what I got was that joy juice was everything. That the energy, the enthusiasm, the excitement of joy, of standing in the moment and inventing something new. That no matter what you came up, you could invent a new way through it, a new technology, a new whatever. That would be just an exciting place to go. There was something about limitless energy involved with that joy juice, but I didn't quite get how that connection would go because as we stand in the world right now and we look at energy sources, we think of wind and sun and and fossil fuels, but I think there just might be a source of energy that comes from a different source than we're presently looking at. We're presently looking at what we know for sources of energy. And so I don't know what that is, but there might just be a miraculous force of energy in the air we breathe that could be used to, you generate some joy juice and you touch your computer and it's recharged. Ooh, I like it.
That's it. It comes from you.
Yeah,
Doesn't come from mining the coal.
yeah. And it doesn't take any energy from you either.
Because you're a limitless source in yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd also go on a journey, but not about what would I add to the world to give it more zest or oomph. I'd almost like be in place, close your eyes, and feel what the dream is. What is the power of the dream that we're all collectively given the grace to establish for this new, completely brand new construct that we're creating. And it's like you drop into all the levels of creativity. But not the creativity that you know, the things that you see around you, the things that have been done before. It's the unfathomableness. It's the depths of something which has never been given the light of your knowing and understanding. But you go there, and you're awakened into something, and it fires you. Just being this place fires you. And all sorts of things start to happen. The particles with which you're composed start to generate a new assembly of ideas. And with those ideas becomes a realization, a conception of something. And the energy is slowly starting to bloom for what this can be. And the excitability knows no bounds. Because you don't know how it will turn out. This thing that you have in this moment, it has a life of its own. And it is given to you to just see what it will become. And I think when we do that as well, it's and almost like pass around the and see what you will make from this feeling of energy. That things just start to they just bubble, you know, something just that wasn't imagined before, that didn't have an idea of itself before, that wasn't preconceived. Suddenly there's a room for that, and I think to have the room for that in our construct of this genius universe is a necessary thing too.
Mm. As you were doing that, I was pursuing that piece about energy, and I thought, I want to place in our consciousness on this world that someone will be able to tap the energy of exploding stars as pure, clean energy source to be used to power everything on this planet. And that there is a way to do that. And someone will take that on. So I'm putting that into consciousness. The energy of exploding stars as a clean, pure energy source for fueling this planet and its growth and its work. And the second thing that came up while you were doing that was a friendly universe. Now, friendly doesn't sound like an awesome term, but I think it's essential that we have a friendly universe. So that all forms of life within that friendly universe are eager to reach out and connect with all other forms of life.
Exactly.
To understand, to explore, to exchange, to share, to create together, that there's an excitement of coming together. You know, the whole concept that we've lived in for years about aliens showing up in spaceships, in little tin, boxes and firing the world and tearing us all apart. I mean, you can only access that from a lower level of vibration. But if the whole universe is existing at a higher level of vibration, then that cannot exist in that vibrational space, including on this world. That's why I'm still surprised today that there are people who are still, killing people and having wars and having greed and stuff, because my God, you must really be resisting the force of the high vibrational frequency that's dancing on this planet at the moment in order to be able to sustain a lower frequency in which you could do that. I'm not saying it as judgment, I'm just saying I'm mystified.
Yes. Put your energy to better use.
Yeah, like once you breathe in the magical, miraculous force of the godness that streams in everything, and you become that force, then there only is a friendly universe ready to share and exchange and know. And there is no poor or rich. There is no, starving or obese. It's just not like that. It's very different. Everything is available for everyone. Every being in every form is treasured in that form. And the body naturally responds to create its own genius art form of what that is. And it doesn't matter if it's different to what we know, that our eyes would perceive beauty no matter what kind of creature comes through a portal. Do you know what I mean? That's it's a beautiful thing. Life is a beautiful thing. And
I was thinking of a time a few years back when I was doing a teleclass called Source Creators, and there were a number of people in the teleclass, and as I was doing that teleclass one night, I had the experience of where my co-creator Jane came with me. It was just like our energies blended together. She came from behind me, and I could feel that we birthed the universe. I could feel the waves of the power just emanating from me. Her energy and my energy. It just wasn't about two people doing it. It was a combination of energy that come together for a specific purpose, which was to birth a universe. So if I have anything to put out here at all, it's about that there's a realization of the knowing that you breathe something into existence which is as powerful as knowing that not only you here in this world as a self-aware, self-created being, but you actually power the world. You power the world, you power the universe. Because that's where the facility of creation comes from. The knowing that it already exists, this gracious, graceful power that very subtly is in you. And when you have things all lined up together, you just know with no problem whatsoever that there is creation taking place. And the creation of a universe, as much as the creation of a child, is that fully, easily, it's fully done. It's feasible, it is doable, it's achievable. It is an event that's waiting to take place for many people to come to that realization that there's a bigger, grander gesture that each person can start to work with. And it's only just orientation. I say if I can just re-examine a human being as having the propensity to reach out and be the full fabric of the universe, then they can certainly reach out and power the universe with their creative endeavoring.
Mm. Beautiful. It's so funny. As you were talking, I was having a thought about something that was quite unrelated to what you were talking about, but I knew it was coming out of what you were talking about. And I was thinking about the cars, the high luxury, off-the-charts cars that are created that, like Mercedes-Benz and Lexus, and, I've seen them where they're literally like a cosmos driving around. They have diamond-studded inside roofs, and along the panels on the inside of the car there are diamond-studded panels, and they're painted with a sparkling star-studded paint. And
the Rolls-Royce Cosmos.
yeah, exactly. And there are a lot of people would think, oh my God, because they sell for well over $1 million or more, and you think such decadence. And yet to me, I was just looking, I was thinking, wow, car as universe. There's something luxuriantly wonderful about the fact that that even exists. And the creators who created that I watched a documentary on it, which was such pristine care.
Yes, I saw it too.
Oh my gosh.
That the guy who put the diamonds into that panel had to get them exactly right. Otherwise, if they were inspected and they were raised up too much, sent back. Whole thing sent back, do it again.
Yeah.
So that's the type of attention to detail
that
they bring to that.
And I love that in all forms things can be done like that. Just as much as I saw a car one day that was a turquoise car with turquoise dashboard. As you can see, I'm a lover of turquoise. I think it's one of the new frequencies at the moment for some reason. So I could celebrate that car, which was a tiny little car, two-seater, as much as I can celebrate the car as cosmos. There's something about when we bring that kind of care and creation to something, and that's why I'm taking it beyond cars, and to that everything we create is touched with a passionate desire for excellence, for beyond, for the next wonder that lives amongst us. That's why I do my office as I do, because I love it. I love living in a space of beautiful, magical, bright light, with creation, with magic everywhere around me, that everywhere my eyes light, it uplifts my energy. And I would love to see a world in which everyone brings that kind of care, that love of what they do to what they create, so that everything becomes more more enhanced, more magical, more beautiful, more amazing, and that we are always celebrating the creations, that no creation that's ever made is poo-pooed. You know, so often, if a little kid is making something, somebody will say, "Well, that's not very good. Do it again so you can get an A instead of a C." And I think, what? That's their creation. How can you can never invalidate a creation. It should not be so. It should never be able to be so that every creation is a beautiful thing. And when we come from that place, I think we would become a very different society and universe.
Yes, encourage the creative force to establish itself
Yeah.
in you.
Masterful genii, creators of the next marvelous new. That's what I would make of us. With all the connection and abilities and energy and wisdom of Godness at our fingertips in order to be able to create. That's the world for me. That's the universe for me that I'm creating. I would also say at a universal level, I believe consciousness is a malleable thing. And consciousness is also the Godness, the living force of Godness. And I would love our relationship with that malleable living force of Godness to become even more understood by us and malleable by us to fabricate unimagined creations. That I would strengthen our ability to put our hands into consciousness and create realities.
Yes, I know how to do that. Maybe that's the subject of another video.
Maybe that's tomorrow's video. We shall see. Creating magical, awesome reality. Well, what the heck? We should do one of those before we're finished,
Yes.
So, yeah.
And I think it applies to how you create your body as well. The body that you really want to have. I believe that it doesn't necessarily have to go down the gym and to try to perfect it that way, but that the feeling of that you love the structure that you inhabit, and that it's not there just to live and eat, dream, and all those things. It's a magical force in itself. You're inhabiting a magical force. You're a magical being inhabiting a magical force, co-creating together a magical life, which is undreamt of.
Mm-hmm.
When you start coming from that point of view, then you have something moves up inside you, and you have a different feeling for the immensity with which you're gracing the worlds.
As you said that, I would gift the new us also that ability that supposing we hurt ourselves, so we broke a bone, let's say, in a fall, then I would imagine that we could just be with it and allow it to just reform itself perfectly. And that vitality and well-being, it's just a stream running through us all the time. That we have those things naturally. That, it's great, some of the things that are being designed today, some of the medical, surgical, even technological things that are happening. I like some of it. I don't like pharmaceutical, but that's a whole other conversation. But imagine, I think that we could create our own brilliant physicality by the very nature of our imagining it, by the very nature of our co-partnership with it, to become that which it wants to become. In order,
I will work at it.
I know you are. Yes, I know you are. Very much so. Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah. Fantastic.
Okay, so does that cover the topic for today?
Well, I think it certainly puts a dent in it to start it. I would say that on the Facebook group that we're doing along with this series, I would love it if you would put into it your ideas, concepts, designs for us as a race, us as a world, us as a genius universe? And what would you put into it? What are the designs that you would put into it? And as you put those onto the Facebook group, then we will all line up and make those things real in the consciousness of us, in the living presence of us, in the thriving physical matter of us. So let's take everything we've just talked about and pop it into the fabric of the living universe, becoming its genius self.
Done already.
Yes. Yes.
Takes no time.
Absolutely. And we will continue to do that as people put things into the Facebook group as well. So it's exciting. I love it. I love doing this with you all.
Yep.
Brilliant.
Get those fingers whipping onto the keyboard.
Yes. So anything else for you, Centaur, before we wrap her up?
I think that's it for this one.
All right. Me too. I would say walk as the living force of life pulsing through everything. Walk as you've tapped the unimagined dreams of the dreamer, dreaming into reality, and begin to live as if the magical force is present in every dib of you, every space of you, everything you look at, everything you breathe. Oh, that's you wandering the universes today.
And just in case you're wondering, today's t-shirt is called Dream Machine. You put your dreams into the machine and you get a reality.
Yes, you do. Brilliant. Okay, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye for now.